Namaskar. A warm welcome to the World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Aditi Lunga bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Union budget for 2023-24 pegs country's economic growth for current financial year at 7%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says budget strives to fulfill dreams of the aspirational society, poor, villagers and middle class. India and US formally launched the US-India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology ICET in Washington. Maldives President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih says India has proven to be one of the most trusted and valued friends during challenging times. Pro-democracy activists in Myanmar hold a silent strike to mark 2 years of military coup, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reaffirms that Turkey won't allow Sweden to join NATO military alliance. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union Budget for 2023-24 in Parliament on Wednesday. She said that the Indian economy is on the right track and is heading towards a bright future despite challenging times. Ms. Sitharaman said the economic growth in the current year is estimated to be at 7%. The Finance Minister announced that capital investment outlay will be increased by 33% to 10 lakh crore rupees, which would be 3.3% of GDP. To spur investment in infrastructure, Ms. Sitharaman said the government has decided to continue the 50-year interest-free loan to state governments for one more year. To increase opportunities for private investment in infrastructure, the government has established Infrastructure Finance Secretariat, which will assist all stakeholders for more investments in railways, roads, urban infrastructure and power. Focusing on the agriculture sector, Ms. Sitharaman said an agriculture accelerator fund will be set up to encourage agri-startups by young entrepreneurs in rural areas. The fund will aim at bringing innovative and affordable solutions for challenges faced by farmers. The Finance Minister also announced that the agriculture credit target will be increased to 20 lakh crore rupees with focus on animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries. The year 2023 has been declared as the International Year of Millets. Ms. Sitharaman said the government will bear an expenditure of about 2 lakh crore rupees to supply free food grain to all Antyodaya and priority households for the next 1 year under PMGKAY in a further push for the government's objective of housing for all. The Finance Minister said the outlay for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana will be enhanced by 66%. Shifting her focus towards education sector, the Finance Minister announced that 157 new nursing colleges will be established in co-location with existing 157 medical colleges established since 2014. The centre will recruit teachers and support staff for the Eklavya Model Residential Schools. The Finance Minister has announced major concessions for individual taxpayers. The rebate limit has been hiked from existing 5 lakh rupees per annum to 7 lakh rupees in the new tax regime. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the first Union budget in the Amrit Kal has established a strong base to fulfill the aspirations and resolutions of a developed India. In his address after the Union budget presentation in Parliament on Wednesday, Mr. Modi said this budget gives priority to the deprived and strives to fulfill the dreams of the aspirational society, poor villagers and the middle class. Prime Minister said this budget will make cooperatives a fulcrum of the development of the rural economy. He said the government has made the world's largest food storage scheme in the cooperative sector. Mr. Modi said an ambitious scheme to form new primary cooperatives has also been announced in the budget. He said this will expand the area of milk and fish production. Along with farming, farmers, animal husbandry and fishermen will get better prices for their produce. Emphasizing the need to replicate the success of digital payments in the agriculture sector, the Prime Minister said that this budget comes with a big plan for digital agriculture infrastructure. Prime Minister said the unprecedented investment of 10 lakh crore rupees on infrastructure will give new energy and speed to India's development. He informed that these investments will create new employment opportunities for the youth, thereby providing new income opportunities to a large population. Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra and the U.S. Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs Victoria Nuland co-chaired the annual India-U.S. Foreign Office consultations on Tuesday in New Delhi. The Ministry of External Affairs said both sides agreed to work together during India's ongoing G20 presidency. They also agreed to intensify cooperation in multilateral fora and international organizations, including the UN, on global issues of mutual interest. The ministry said that both sides also reviewed progress made towards further consolidating the India-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership. It said that discussions also covered contemporary regional developments in South Asia, Indian Ocean region and the Indo-Pacific. Both countries' representatives reiterated their commitment to a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific with the objective of ensuring peace, stability and prosperity in the region. Earlier, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Ms. Nuland. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said they had a good talk on the Indian subcontinent, the Indo-Pacific and the convergences in Indo-US relationship. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on President says India to shine bright during Amrit Kal.
The President of India, Ms. Draupadi Murmu, addressed both houses of Indian Parliament. The President said, a few months back, our country completed 75 years of independence and entered the Amrit Kal. This Azadi Ka Amrit Kal assimilates the pride of thousands of years of our glorious past, the inspirations of Indian freedom struggle and India's resolve for a golden future. This Amrit Kal of 25 years is the period of the golden centenary of independence and the making of a developed India. This 25-year span is for every citizen of the country to perform duties to utmost levels. It is an opportunity to build an era that beckons us, for which we need to work continuously with our full potential. President Murmu said, by 2047, we have to build a nation which not only embraces its glorious past, but also encompasses every golden aspect of modernity. We have to build a Bharat which is self-reliant and is also able to fulfill its humanitarian obligations. A Bharat which has no poverty and where the middle class is prosperous. A Bharat whose youth and women power will be at the forefront to give direction to the society and the nation, and whose youth are well ahead of times. A Bharat whose diversity is even more vivid and whose unity is unshakable. When the country actualizes this reality in 2047, it will certainly observe and assess the foundation of its grand construction. At that time, these moments of Azadi Ka Amrit Kal will be viewed with a different perspective. Therefore, this time and this period of Amrit Kal has become all the more significant. The President said, a stable and decisive government has enabled us to deal with the biggest calamity in 100 years and the situation that arose thereafter. Wherever in the world there is political instability, those countries are beset with severe crisis. India is in a much better position than the rest of the world due to the decisions taken by the government in national interest. In the last 9 years, the President said that the speed and scale of development in the country has been unprecedented. India has become the world's 5th largest economy. It has increased its manufacturing capacity manifold. Make in India has led to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Defence exports have risen by 6%. Khadi industry has marked a turnover of 1 lakh crore rupees. Exports have increased to over $500 billion. India is 40th in the Global Innovation Index. 2.5 lakh broadband connections are given every month. 55,000 gas connections are also given every month. 1 new medical college is being built every month. A university comes up in India every week. Free food grains to over 81 crore people are distributed every month. 11 crore small farmers have benefited from Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. SCs, STs, OBCs, Adivasis have been the biggest beneficiaries of government schemes. She observed that her government is of the firm opinion that corruption is the biggest enemy of democracy and social justice. Therefore, there has been a relentless fight against corruption in the last few years. She said that they have ensured that the honest be honored in the system. India's heritage connects us to our roots and our development gives us the courage to reach out to the sky. That is why the government has chosen the path of consolidating heritage and giving priority to development. Today, on one hand, Ayodhya Dham is being constructed in the country, while on the other hand, a modern Parliament house is also being built. On one hand, we have constructed Kedarnath Dham, Kashi Vishwanath Dham and Mahakal Mahalok, while on the other, the government is also building medical colleges in every district. India is developing its pilgrimage centers and preserving its historical legacy, while it is also becoming a major space power of the world. India has also launched its first private satellite. We are following the path shown by saints like Adi Shankaracharya, Lord Basaveshwara, Thiruvalluvar and Guru Nanak Dev. Today, India is also becoming a hub of high-tech knowledge. The President said we are strengthening the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat through Kashi Tamil Sangamam, while on the other, we are also developing modern systems like One Nation, One Ration Card. India's strength in digital mission and 5G technology is being acknowledged by the world today. Today, India is taking its ancient methods like Yoga and Ayurveda to the whole world. It is also strengthening her new identity as the pharmacy of the world. India is encouraging natural farming and its traditional millet crops. We have also developed modern technology like nano-urea. India is improving rural infrastructure for agriculture. We are also empowering farmers through drone technology and solar power. While emphasis is being laid on the development of smart facilities in the cities, mapping of houses in the villages is being done through drones under the Swamitva Yojana for the first time. President Murmu quoted from Nari Shakti, written by Utkal Bharati. Kuntara Kumari Sabat, an immortal personality of Indian literature, freedom fighter, and well-known Odia poetess. About 100 years ago, she said, Boshundhara tore, Bharat Ramani nuhe, hine nuhe dino, Amarakirti koti juge kebhe jagotano nohi bolin. Meaning, the woman of India is neither inferior nor weak compared to anyone else. Her immortal glory will never disappear for ages and shall remain forever in the world.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. A delegation of the German Parliament, Bundestag, called on Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla at Parliament House on Tuesday. Referring to the long-standing ties between India and Germany, Mr. Birla said that the ties between the two countries are based on shared values and common goals. He said India and Germany are playing an important role in tackling emerging global challenges. Mr. Birla appreciated the contribution of German parliamentarians in strengthening parliamentary relations between the two countries. He added that India and Germany have a strategic partnership since 2000. He expressed happiness that the current German government has held consultative talks with India, which is a commendable initiative for bilateral relations between the two countries. He further said that India wants to further strengthen the parliamentary cooperation between the two countries. Mr. Birla added that India is the largest democracy in the world. He stated that India has a centuries-old democratic heritage, due to which it is known as the mother of democracy around the world. Minister of Tourism G. Kishan Reddy launched the Visit India Year 2023 initiative and also unveiled its logo in New Delhi on Tuesday, kicking off the year of grand plans and activities for promoting tourism in the country. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said the launch of Visit India Year 2023 logo is taking place in this important year as India is heading G20. He said more than 1 lakh foreign delegates will visit India this year and they will be showcased entire gamut of India's culture, including monuments and festivals. Mr. Reddy added that each foreign delegate of G20 will be a brand ambassador of India's culture, heritage and tourist destinations. He further stated that his ministry is coordinating with Indian missions and other stakeholders to have a conducive environment for foreign visitors this year. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and his U.S. counterpart Jake Sullivan formally launched the U.S.-India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology ICET in Washington. The United States and India concluded the U.S.-India ICET meeting and also decided to launch a new innovation bridge. The Indian Embassy in the U.S. said in a tweet that ICET announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Biden. It reflects India's U.S. Convention of Strategic, Commercial and Scientific Approaches in the field of technology. The White House said in a statement that Innovation Bridge will connect both countries' defense startups. It said both countries affirm that the ways in which technology is designed, developed, governed, and used should be shaped by our shared democratic values and respect for universal human rights. According to the statement, the two sides discuss opportunities for greater cooperation in critical and emerging technologies, co-development and co-production, and ways to deepen connectivity across our innovation ecosystems. Maldives President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih has said that his country's partnership with India, built on mutual trust and respect, has had a renewed impetus during the past 4 years. He added that India has proven to be one of the most trusted and valued friends during challenging times. He said the remarks while speaking at the official receptions in Dharubaruge held to commemorate India's 74th Republic Day. Speaking at the reception, the President extended warm wishes and felicitations for the occasion to President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and friendly people of India on behalf of the Maldivian people. Reflecting on the friendship between the two countries throughout the years, President Solih noted India's massive contributions to the Maldives' developmental efforts and assistance towards the COVID-19 response as significant highlights of this special relationship. The President expressed his confidence in elevating the existing relations between the two countries through new avenues of cooperation this year. President Solih stated that India's enduring adherence to the constitutionalism serves as a shining example for young democracies such as the Maldives and a fine example of the vision and foresight of the framers of India's constitution. He applauded the resilience, commitment and steadfastness India has demonstrated in its journey towards progress, development and stability over the years. He said Constitution of India guarantees sovereignty and safeguards all rights, which played a crucial role in its success. President Solih also emphasized that the ethos of inclusiveness and equitable development in India is a fine demonstration of the strength of its constitution and the policies of its leadership. He added that India continues to set an example to the world that it is possible to achieve unity through diversity and that a nation can strive towards a harmonious society while not compromising its development imperatives. Pro-democracy activists in Myanmar are holding a silent strike to mark 2 years since a military coup. Protesters have urged the public to remain indoors and for businesses to close for Wednesday's anniversary. The call came as the UK, US, Canada and Australia announced fresh sanctions against army-linked firms. The military has said that the country is facing unusual circumstances, prompting fresh doubt over its pledge to hold an election this year. Images shows deserted streets in major cities, including the commercial centre of Yangon. Protesters also gathered outside Myanmar embassies in Thailand and Japan, chanting anti-military slogans and holding portraits of jailed democracy's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. A small pro-military demonstration took place in Yangon, where an estimated 200 supporters marched through the city centre, escorted part of the way by soldiers, AFP news agency reported. In Sri Lanka, local government elections have been scheduled for 9th of March. The announcement comes in the form of Gazette notifications issued by returning officers. More than 80,700 candidates are in the fray for 8,771 seats in 340 local councils. The Election Commission of Sri Lanka has said that the candidates belong to 58 registered political parties and 329 independent groups. The US and Europe are united in urging Iran to return to the negotiating table on an agreement to revive its 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, the US Special Envoy for Iran has told BBC News. Robert Malley told BBC Iran is going to have to make a choice whether it wants to continue to go down this path of greater isolation, greater pressure, more sanctions, no economic opportunity, or whether it chooses another one. Iran has repeatedly said its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reaffirmed Wednesday that Turkey won't allow Sweden to join the NATO military alliance as long as it permits protests desecrating Islam's holy book to take place. Turkey, which has been holding off approving Sweden and Finland's membership in the Western Military Alliance, has been infuriated by a series of demonstrations in Stockholm by activists who have burned Quran outside Turkish embassy and hanged an effigy of Erdogan. It has also definitely postponed a key meeting in Brussels that have been discussed the two Nordic countries' entry into NATO. Swedish government officials have distanced themselves from the protests, including by a far-right anti-Islam activist who burned copies of the Quran in Stockholm and Copenhagen, Denmark, while also stressing that the demonstrations are protected by freedom of speech. Taiwan prepared fighter jets, put its navy on alert and activated missile systems in response to nearby operations by 34 Chinese military aircraft and 9 warships that are part of Beijing's strategy to unsettle and intimidate the self-governing island democracy. The large-scale Chinese deployment came as Beijing increases preparations for a potential blockade or military action against Taiwan that has stirred increasing concern among military leaders, diplomats and elected officials in the U.S. Taiwan's key ally. In a memo last month, U.S. Air Force General Mike Minihan instructed officers to be prepared for a U.S.-China conflict over Taiwan in 2025. As head of the Air Mobility Command, Minihan has a key understanding of the Chinese military and his personal remarks echo calls in the U.S. for heightened preparations. Taiwan's Defense Ministry said 20 Chinese aircraft on Tuesday crossed the central line in the Taiwan Strait that has long been an unofficial buffer zone between the sides, which separated during the Civil War in 1949. In Sri Lanka, over 1 lakh tourist arrivals have been recorded for January 2023. The Sri Lankan Tourism Development Authority reported an increase of over 20,000 tourists against January last year. The island nation had 13,759 tourist arrivals from India during the month. India had been the largest source market for tourism in Sri Lanka last year. Mortar shells have exploded in Somali capital Mogadishu as regional leaders are gathered in the city to discuss their joint offensive against the Al-Shabaab militant group. The 4 shells hit areas near the heavily guarded presidential palace. There are no reports of casualties. The leaders of Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti are holding a summit there on Wednesday following recent military gains made by Somali government against the Islamist militants. Al-Shabaab still control large area of Somalia and are continuing to carrying out regular attacks. But they've lost territory since the government, backed by the US and African troops, launched a new offensive last August. Tunisian President Kais Saied has issued a decree extending the state of emergency that has been in place in the country since November 2015. The state of emergency was extended until the end of December this year, the state news agency TAP reported. Mr. Saied last extended the state of emergency on 30th December for a month. Before that, it was extended for nearly a year from February to 31st December 2022. The initial declaration of a state emergency in November 2015 followed a bombing targeting a bus transporting Presidential Guard forces, which killed 12. The country has been rocked earlier that year by 2 major attacks on foreign tourists in the capital, Tunis, and the resort town of Sousse. The latest moves comes as Tunisia main opposition parties have accused Mr. Saied of a power grab after he implemented a series of measures expanding his powers and curbing those of elected institutions. Opposition leaders have called on the president to stand down after recent parliamentary elections saw a record low voter turnout. Equatorial Guinea has appointed Manuel Roca Bote as Prime Minister, becoming the first woman in the country to hold the position. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Wabasogo, who has ruled the country since 1979, made the announcement on Tuesday in a decree read on state television. Ms. Rodi was previously the Education Minister and joined the government in 2020. She replaces former Premier Francisco Pascual Obama Asue, who has been in the position since 2016. Pope Francis has celebrated one of his biggest masses in Democratic Republic of Congo's capital, Kinshasa. It is more than 37 years since a pope visited the mineral-rich but conflict-ridden country. Estimates say around 1 million gathered for the open-air mass at Endol Airport on the second of the pontiff's 6-day visit to Africa. Around half of DR Congo's population is Catholic, the largest Catholic community in Africa. Speaking at the Mass, the Catholic leader called the peace in DR Congo, saying warring sides should forgive one another and grant their opponents a great amnesty of the heart. Wednesday's Mass was tipped to be one of the Pope's largest ever Masses, second only to one held in Philippines in 2014. Authorities in Western Australia say they have found a tiny radioactive capsule which went missing last month. The capsule was found when a vehicle equipped with specialist equipment, which was travelling at 70 kilometers per hour, detected radiation, officials said. A huge search was triggered when the object was lost while being transported along 1,400 kilometers route across the state. Authorities released a closer picture of the pea-sized capsule, which could cause serious harm if handled on the ground among tiny pebbles. It contains a small quantity of caesium-137, which could cause skin damage, burns or radiation sickness. Mining giant Rio Tinto apologized for losing the device, which is used as a density gauge in the mining industry. It will be stored at a secure location in the town of Newman overnight before being transported to a secure facility in the city of Perth on Thursday. India demolished New Zealand by 168 runs in the deciding third and final T20 International at Ahmedabad. Chasing the target of 235, the visitors were bundled out for a paltry score of 66 runs in 12.1 overs. Daryl Mitchell was the highest score for New Zealand with 35 runs. Only two batsmen could reach the double figure, while four batsmen were out without scoring any run. For the winners, Hardik Pandya was the pick of the bowlers, taking 4 wickets. Arshdeep Singh, Shivam Mavi and Umran Malik took 2 wickets. With this, India have won the series by 2-1. Visitors won the first match by 21 runs in Ranchi, while hosts won the second T20I in Lucknow by 6 wickets. Earlier, the hosts won the toss, elected to bat and scored 234 runs in stipulated 20 overs. Shubman Gill hit a ton with 126 runs on 63 balls and remained not out. Rahul Tripathi scored 44 of 22 balls. Reliance Consumer Products Limited, the FMCG arm of Reliance Retail Ventures Limited, has announced a strategic partnership with Sri Lanka's Maliban biscuit manufactories. Maliban, a heritage brand and a household name in Sri Lanka, is a pioneer biscuit manufacturer, well known for last 70 years for its range of quality products. The company has expanded its products to reach global markets and now exports to over 35 countries across 5 continents. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Globe and Mail reports Canada's transportation regulator doesn't track 97% of air passenger claims. The Washington Post writes radioactive capsule found in Australian desert after relentless search. The Financial Times reports Eurozone inflation slows to 8.5% on the back of lower energy costs. The New York Times writes, as China's COVID tsunami recedes, relief, grief and anxiety follow. South China Morning Post says Austin's Philippines visit to bring deal on expanded military base access. Le Monde reports in the DRC, Pope Francis called on Africa to be the protagonist of its destiny, and Asahi Shimbun says U.S. blocks export license renewals for China's Huawei. A quick look at the headlines once again. Union budget for 2023-24 pegs country's economic growth for current financial year at 7%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says budget strives to fulfill dreams of the aspirational society, poor villages and middle class. Maldives President Ibrahim Mohammed Solih says India has proven to be one of the most trusted and valued friends during the challenging times, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reaffirms that Turkey won't allow Sweden to join the NATO military alliance. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnava Jan, by artists from Namibia. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of the World News.